Hello and welcome to the Classroom Connection, the show that takes you inside Marion County Public Schools. I'm Kevin Christian and I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes or so. During that time, you will learn what's brand new on our student desktop. You'll see the special homecoming of a local military mom at school, and you'll discover how this spring things are looking quite a bit different at North Marion Middle School. Up front though, April means prom season, and there's no stronger message targeting high school students this month than to not drink and drive. To drive this point home, first responders conducted a mock crash scene recently, and though the scenario involved spring break, the same message rings out loud and clear: do not drink and drive. Here's Joel Hartley.
The leading cause in death and serious injury for our young people, our future citizens and leaders, it's because of traffic crashes, and we have to stop it. But it's just not us, it's the challenging now the kids. They have to make the choice.
This year's Mock DUI was all about choices for the students at Forest High, not only making the right choice themselves, but also making the right one when their friends make the wrong one. Normally a prom-themed scenario, this year was centered around spring break and presented to students 3 days before the week off.
Spring break is a bigger deal, and we really wanted to give them this message over prom. We chose this over prom because there's a longer period in the week where you can, start off doing the right thing, but you have a lot more time to make the wrong decisions. For prom, we all ride in buses and we go out of town to our place. So spring break is definitely more of an impact, and definitely a lot more student drivers, a lot of back and forth, and a lot more drinking, I would say too. There's definitely much more risk that goes along with spring break.
The somewhat graphic display of a fatal car crash, complete with law enforcement, fire rescue, paramedics, and even a hearse to take away the dead body, is all designed to drive home the seriousness of the situation.
To me, it was just a reminder of that conversation that I know all of us have with our parents, and it really was. It was very, very realistic, especially for me, seeing my friends being the victims, and actually seeing this proves that situation.
We think it's really important for us to just show our students the severity of choices that you make, like drinking and driving or not wearing seatbelts, because there's just too many deaths that could be reversed if something like one small choice was changed.
Not lost on the students was the fact others paid for the driver's poor decision.
Carly, call 911.
Not only did the passenger in the car with the drunk driver, not only did she die and get injured, but the other car, which was full of innocent people, they were all unconscious in the car, and they were just driving. They were completely innocent. Who knows where they were coming from? But now their lives have been affected by it.
We really just wanted to show that it's not only your life that you could kill, but also others, and one small choice can really just change, not one, not two lives, but a whole car full. And that, whatever you choose, it's going to impact everybody else, so you just need to be really wise with that decision.
While the focus of the mock DUI is drinking and driving, there are many other potential threats which need to be addressed.
We need to take away from a little more drink and driving and go to drugs. Drugs have been an issue for many years. Distracted driving has been now another issue in reference to smartphones and texting and email and everything else, and listen to the music. We're way too distracted.
The crash scenario rotates each year to a different public high school right here in Marion County. Now, on a much brighter note, spring break came early for one Westport student thanks to a surprise homecoming. As Joe Hartley shows us, what was supposed to be just another day in class ended up being a day to remember.
Westport High ROTC cadet Amanda Lugo thought she was wearing a microphone as part of a story on the Army Challenge, a story we'll bring you on a future Classroom Connection. She was actually wearing it as part of the Army surprise. Her mom, Master Sergeant Amy Lugo, was on a 12-month deployment to Kuwait and expected to return home in a couple of weeks. At least that's what Amanda thought.
Hey, baby. How are you?
We wanted to make sure she was here by Monday for spring break. So luckily for me, she was able to fly in on Sunday from Kuwait. We were able to call in a few favors.
But simply getting Mom home early wasn't enough. Having been deployed before himself, Dad wanted to make a splash with the reunion.
That was something that you see all the time. You know, you see it all the time on TVs, and it was something that I wanted to do for them to have for their future. One day they'll have kids of their own, and they'll remember that moment. I know when I came home, from Afghanistan, it was truly breathtaking.
Totally awesome idea. Totally awesome idea. And it's just great to see parents reunite with their children. Been there, done that, and know what it's like to be separated from your family. And just to see the love of the reunion come together again, it was a perfect day.
Everything was set up first class. There was some thought process. People thought it through here at Westport and at Howard. At Howard, my youngest daughter was interviewing the Teacher of the Year, Ms. Boombach, and Mom came up in the middle of the interview. That was priceless.
The surprise was equally as effective at Westport, where Assistant Principal Ken McAteer helped catch Amanda off guard.
Is there Amanda Lugo in here?
I thought I was going to be in trouble. And then he was like, is Amanda Lugo here? I'm like, oh God, what did I do? And then I saw her, so I ran to her.
Hey, baby. How are you?
I thought I was in trouble. What? I thought I was in trouble when he came in.
You thought you were in trouble? What'd you do?
Nothing.
Dad even had a cover story for why he had to mysteriously disappear the night before.
He told me he was going to meet up with the governor for his picnic that's coming up for his work. And I thought he was just going to meet up with him, and then I had no idea.
Did I surprise you? Don't let you do the same thing to me.
Actually, the reaction was probably better than I expected.
I was overwhelmed. It's such a great feeling to be home because a year is such a long time, but my husband did a great job on the home front. He took great care of my daughters, and they were so busy with all their school sports and stuff, so it was nice. And we were able to Skype and call each other, so it was long, it was drawn out, but we survived it.
So what'd you think about the test?
The surprise homecoming wasn't all good news. Amanda had just done poorly on a quiz and fessed up to Mom right away.
I just failed my test. Yeah.
She usually gets A's, so we'll have to talk about this. But my husband did a great job. I mean, she got great grades throughout the year, so I'm very happy with them. I thought maybe my being gone that her grades may slip, but they didn't. She maintained like a 3.5 average, so I'm very proud of her. So I'll give her this today, but we'll talk about it.
Next month, we will share what the Army recently did on the Westport campus to stir up interest in recruiting students. Well, just last month, you may recall, we celebrated Music in Our Schools Month. We even brought you special musical concerts from every grade level right here on the Marion Education Channel. But just in case you missed those programs, here's a quick look at what they were like. Music plays a big part in all of our schools and in our lives. For my next two guests, music is their life. Melissa Boombach is Marion County's 2012 Teacher of the Year. She's also the chorus teacher at Howard Middle School and appears on our show today for the very first time. Seated beside her is a gentleman who's also a familiar face in our community. He is John Letellier, Marion County's 2010 Teacher of the Year, and John was the music teacher at Stanton Weirsdale Elementary just a few years ago when he became Teacher of the Year. So thanks to both of you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Two music teachers of the year in 3 years. Quite an accomplishment. What do you think that says to our community, Melissa?
I think it says that we not only understand the importance of music education, we understand the importance of quality music education by putting well-educated and accomplished music teachers in the classroom.
John, I'm going to come to you in just a minute, but since I got Melissa here, I'm going to ask her another question. Melissa, you have kind of, well not kind of, you have revitalized the chorus program at Howard Middle School. How does the interest that you see in the students compare with the success that you've had there already?
The interest of the students has been the catalyst for the success, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So I gave them all of the tools they needed, and they just ate everything up that I gave them and asked for more. Every activity we've done, they've said, Miss Boombach, when's the next one? Or can we add this? So their enthusiasm really has been responsible for what we've done.
Was it really just a program waiting to hatch, if you will, or did you have to go out and kind of create a little bit of interest in it?
It's interesting you ask that, because when I applied for the job, the principal, who is now retired, Miss Collins, she told me the kids were starving for a music program there since they hadn't had it in a long time. They had seen the talent at talent shows, and she knew that it was fertile ground, just ready for a music program to be launched.
Now, not to discredit Mr. Merkel, because he's got an award-winning band program.
Of course, I meant chorus. In the talent show,
right.
They were singing, and they didn't have any outlet for that.
You also have a much more prominent platform now as Teacher of the Year, and given that platform, how do you hope people understand music as a taught subject, but not one that's funded as such necessarily in Tallahassee?
Yes. I am just flabbergasted that we haven't gotten the message out there enough that there is consistent research that the more arts classes students take, the higher test scores go up, regardless of socioeconomic status, regardless of gender, regardless of race. Consistently, the more music classes they're in, the higher their test scores are. And it's important that we get that message out there that we need to have music in our schools, especially if we want to keep having higher test scores. Sure. Since there's so much emphasis on testing, this is going to help us with that. This is not separate. They are very linked.
And John, you come from the testing capital of the state, Tallahassee. I'm not going to put you on the spot for that necessarily, but you know, you're in Tallahassee working with the Department of Education. What do you see as the future of music and the arts in our schools?
Well, I think that the arts are very important to Tallahassee. The Department of Education thinks that the arts are integral to a student's learning, and I believe that our legislators believe that as well. There is, of course, right now at this point in our economy, there's just a shortfall of money. Right. It's very difficult to always decide what to cut, what to keep, but I don't think cutting the arts is on the plate of anyone. So I believe that the arts is considered important. We're working very hard to implement the arts with all different subject areas and to find those integrations that actually are meaningful, not just to say that we're putting math with music, but where they coincide, such as with science. If you're studying sound waves, it's very applicable to music. So find those connections at the time of year that are being taught and trying to bring those together. So again, the arts is integral to what we're doing, and we feel very confident that the future of the arts looks bright in Florida. We just have to get through some economic hiccups, and I think things will be good.
Well, and we here in Marion County, you know, we certainly have felt the budget impact. You know, we have some elementary schools who are sharing music teachers. That's no secret here. But what I want to ask you guys is kind of get a little more personal here and kind of look back and tell me how you both fell in love with music to begin with. I mean, we all kind of have our story of when the bug bit us, if you will. But Melissa, when did it happen to you?
I don't even remember. It was so much a part of my family growing up. We sang in church, we sang in the car, we would harmonize. They would always say, oh, here comes the Von Trapp family. We were just always singing and playing the piano and playing instruments, so it's always been a part of our life.
So it's all you've known?
Yep.
Wow. John?
I think for myself, I can point back to two moments. The first is when I was about 3 or 4 and I started wanting to play the piano. Piano was played in my house, and I would go to the piano and just kind of start picking up the notes, and took lessons for a couple of weeks, and I lost interest and picked it back up at 4.5, I think. So, but you know, it was always a part of my life, and I practiced probably between an hour and a half every day as a child, with nobody prodding me to do it. By 6 years old, I was accompanying the school chorus. So, I mean, I was totally immersed in it, totally loved it. I did actually love strongly science, and so I thought that at some point I would be going to a science career. Never dreamed that I would actually be pursuing the fine arts career. But when I was 16 and I started taking classical lessons from a very renowned private teacher, she actually took me to an Andre Watts concert, and that, I think, really solidified the deal for me. So those two moments in history, starting as a child, but then at 16 being able to see Andre Watts, I believe he performed the Cézanne G minor piano concerto, and I was right up there in the front, and it was just
there to see it.
That really amazed me.
You know, as music teachers, you recognize those students that have natural ability and have the passion to succeed with that ability. What is it that you hope your students leave your class with?
I hope they leave understanding that music is not for the talented few, that music is for everyone. We all have different ways that we express ourselves, and it's something that you carry with you for the rest of your life. You can enjoy singing and playing music and even dancing, all of the arts. They add richness and they let you express yourself. Sometimes when I feel frustrated or I feel sad or I feel really excited, I don't know how to express it with words except to just sing or dance or whatever. I wish I could draw. I certainly don't have that talent. But, you know, it's not just about being good. It's about doing it together and sharing that. If you've ever been in a huge stadium singing songs together, right, that's a huge connection with those people, that you're all doing it at the same time. Doesn't matter who's good, who isn't. You're just doing it all at the same time.
And there is a remarkable difference between performing for an audience of 1 or 2 or 5 versus 100 or 500 or 5,000. So, John, you know, you're not in the classroom now, but you were for many years, 14 years, I believe. Looking back on that, what's your inspiration to move forward here?
Well, I'm excited at the position that I'm in because of the ability to help the children in the classroom on a broader level. So although I miss being in the classroom greatly, and part of my position, thankfully, is to visit classrooms and see what's going on around the state, so I'll be able to connect with teachers and students that way. But I think that ability to help students actually have an enrichment that, I put it this way, we don't live to read and write and do math. We live to enjoy our lives, and the arts are part of that. One of, I think, one of the most interesting people of our time that just recently passed away is Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs was brilliant in both his logistical thoughts, his ability to be logical, but he also believed in elegance and artistic vision, and he worked with Jonathan Ives to achieve that. So I want the children to come out of the classroom, and when I taught, this is what I tried to do, to see the utilitarian aspects of the arts, but also to see the intrinsic value and beauty on its own.
Well, guys, we're out of time, unfortunately, but John, I appreciate you coming all the way from Tallahassee to spend some time with us, and I know you're visiting some of our schools as well, so good luck with that. And Melissa, of course, it's always great to talk with you and see the smile and just enjoy the passion that you have for music.
Thank you again for
Thanks to
having
both
us.
of you.
Thank you very much.
Well, you may recall that Melissa's chorus students recently won $10,000 in Fox TV's Glee Give a Note contest. Here's a look at their winning video.
Have been cut. We have 5 teachers teaching at 10 different schools, and the kids will only get up to 5 hours of music education for the entire year.
If you want to talk about embattled music programs, we're it. We are the last middle school chorus program in the entire county. There's only 1 high school chorus program and 1 part-time.
We have no chorus budget. Bands used to have money for expenses, but even that's cut this year. Everything we do is 100% fundraised by us, the chorus students, because we love our program.
We need uniforms, choral risers, new sound system, and buses to bring us to our performances, and enough money to start our first musical this year. Please vote for us and help us to keep our chorus program alive.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to the feeling. Street lights,
Don't stop believing that music is essential to every student's education.
Congratulations once again to Melissa Boombach and her students at Howard Middle School. Well, taking a note from the same page, students and parents win when it comes to the latest additions to the student and parent portals. Parents now have access to additional student information, and the entire portal is available in Spanish. Meantime, students are enjoying new features that make schoolwork much more convenient. Here's what they have to say about it in their own words.
In essence, when I give an assignment, if a student is not able to finish it during the classroom period of time, I let them know I must have it by midnight tonight. They can actually go home and finish their work and email it to me. And there's a date and time stamp, so they've met the deadline that I gave the students.
It helps me with a lot of the partnership assignments that we have from the teachers, because some homework assignments we have to do with other students, and if we have no other way to communicate with them, that's where SkyDrive comes in, because it has a messenger where you can talk to other people or just message them back and forth.
I am aware that we have an email account, but we can only get it in 6th grade, and I think it'd be really cool if we could get it in 5th grade, because I think we're responsible enough and mature enough to use it.
I would like to see kind of like an active chat added, because right now I'm working on a project, but my partner isn't here, and email can be a bit slower, and he might not get back to me before the end of class.
If you have a project for your class, you can go into SkyDrive and you can make, like I have made something for Spanish class. So if you have a project, you can't say that you couldn't do the project, because you can do it right here, you can do it at the public library, you can do it at your house, and you can't really say that you didn't have anywhere, or you don't have PowerPoint, because it's right all on your computer.
There's no more excuses. The flash drives or the thumb drives, that was a common place in my classroom where I forgot it. I left it at home. So then it was like, okay, we'll bring it tomorrow, or email it to me later if you have your own email. Now I can say to them, you need to email this to me, or you need to put it on the SkyDrive so when you can come to class, you can print it out.
I remember one time I had an essay that I had to do. I had a word processor, and I tried to adapt that with Microsoft Word, and it wouldn't work. Then there were some times when we needed to do a PowerPoint presentation, and I didn't have the equipment to do it. So I had to go all the way to the library to find a computer that actually did have it. And trying to find a computer to just find a single piece of software is just pretty ridiculous.
It eliminates the excuses that I couldn't get to the library, I couldn't get to my friend's house, I don't have this at home. Now they can do it from home. They can access all this information from any place where they have access to the internet.
Some of them go to McDonald's, pick up the Wi-Fi at McDonald's and use a laptop. They may not have service at home, but they have a computer that will pick up wireless, and they know they can use it at one of the restaurants or local businesses that gives free Wi-Fi.
It puts all of our students on an equal playing field, no matter what their economic background is, by allowing them to have this desktop and having access to all this information. If a child does not have a computer at home, and there's still many students who do not, but now they can access all their work from any computer with internet access. They can go to the library, they can go to their friends, their relatives, the Y, the Boys and Girls Club, wherever it is that they can access a computer and complete their schoolwork.
For more information on the student and parent portals, contact your school office. Well, just outside the office at North Marion Middle School, it's a brand new area thanks to one person's initiative and the efforts of a Home Depot volunteer team. Here's Chadwick Pierce to explain that story.
A parent who is a member of both the Home Depot and North Marion Middle School families noticed while visiting the school that the courtyard has seen better days. and then had an idea.
My son actually is a student here, and I drop him off on a regular basis, and just seeing the appearance of the place here, it was very overrun by weeds and looked like it wasn't really being maintained or couldn't be maintained, probably because of funding and that type of thing, and it looked like a great project. We like to do projects like this.
They do like doing projects like this, so much that they have some completed and some in the works.
We've done projects like this at College Park Elementary, Marion Oaks. We have one scheduled for this spring at Marion Oaks Elementary, a butterfly garden. So we do this on a regular basis.
Having a ton of experience in projects like this makes it easier to get this project off, or in this case, out of the ground.
What we actually had to do was remove all of the old mulch that had been here for a long time. Half of the area had been overrun by weeds, so we had to remove those also, and just get down to the base of the area. We actually have rubber mulch going in, and that we probably have about 5,000 pounds of rubber mulch out here today, and all in 50-pound bags. So it's a process.
A process that takes time and volunteers. The Home Depot provided all of the supplies for the renovation and most of the manpower.
All of the people that are here have volunteered their own time. Everybody's off today, and they have volunteered to come out here and help. And we never have to, really look too far for help. All of our associates are willing to help, and it's really a good group, and they're really willing to do anything that we ask them to do.
The materials used in this renovation are not temporary. It's made to last.
We chose stuff that's very low maintenance. The rubber mulch, you'll never have to do really anything but rake it up, and just a little maintenance there. It'll last forever. It's made out of recycled tires, so it's great for the environment. All of the mulch that was made especially for us right here in Central Florida at a plant right outside Orlando, so keeping it local.
Home Depot associates were not the only ones to lend their volunteer skills. Some students showed up to help for different reasons.
Volunteering is important because it's a big part of our life. I mean, it helps you gain courage and leadership and a lot of qualities that you should have before you grow up.
One of those qualities is two simple words.
Just hard work. They said they needed people that would work and not just stand around and watch. So I said, well, I'll come out there and do it.
The new mulch, flowers, and plants that have been added to this courtyard are going to be aesthetically pleasing to anyone who sees it or uses it, and the school could not be more grateful.
There is no possible way that we could have gotten this project done with this type of help, this type of the monetary investment at this point and where our budgets are. So it takes this type of involvement by parents and community and organizations like Home Depot that are willing to come and do these types of things. There's no possible way that we could have got it done without it. And I want to stress how important that is and how thankful we are to Home Depot and the parents and helping us out with this project.
Word has it, students, parents, and even school personnel are using the courtyard much more regularly, especially now that spring is in the air. Well, Superintendent Jim Yancey retires this November, but he's not letting up anytime soon. Here he is with this month's Superintendent's Spotlight.
Welcome back from spring break, and we're in the month of April. As you can see behind me, we're at Community Tech and Adult Education. I just wanted to say a couple of words about this facility. It's located here on State Road 200, and as you know, it's really the best place in the world for you to come to get either some training and recreational activities that you're interested in, or certification areas for a job, and also for educational activities. All those things are offered here at Community Technical and Adult Ed, and certainly it's less expensive than in the private institutions out there, and even very, very competitive with what we've got going on in our state university system. Much less expensive than that as well. So I hope you'll take advantage of this great facility we've got here and improve yourself, whether you need a new job or you're just looking to learn some new recreational activity, hobby, if you will, that you can learn about and start to enjoy later on in life. Secondly, It's April, just like I said. FCAT testing's coming up. End of course exams are coming up. Parents, just remind your students and do this for us. Please try to have your students get lots of rest, especially the day before those exams. Eat a good breakfast in the morning, and when they have an opportunity to cram for those tests, they need to do so as well and go to any remediation that's going on. We certainly hope they'll do well. They need to be relaxed and rested when they come in to take those tests, and we're looking forward to them having a great year of testing and doing well as we round out the end of this school year. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thanks, Mr. Yancey, and thank you for joining us today. Parents, remember, be there for your child every day. We'll see you next time.